Hey YouTube, welcome to the lounge. Okay, let's step into the lounge. So this is the lounge. When you come right off of our dining room, and this is the first big project that we wanted to do when we got this house. When we were doing the walkthrough of this house before we ever even purchased it, we were like, okay, this is going to be the lounge. The walls, the ceiling, everything was agreeable gray in here. And everybody looked at me so crazy when I said I wanted to drench this room in brown. I want to add some paneling, so all of the paneling was done by Van, my boyfriend. He's also the cameraman. All the paneling was done. We have customized dimensions to fit each wall. And I knew I wanted the grid to go to the top as well, but be separated. And I knew that I wanted the ceiling too. A lot of people they're not doing that around here. And that's just something that I've seen done. I felt like that's very architectural digest. Like, doesn't matter how small, how old your home is, have character to the max. So yeah, I wanted to drench this room in brown. We painted the door. We replaced the outlet plates and the wall plates with this brass wall plate from Home Depot. Okay, so this twin candle lamp is from Ballard Designs, and this is from Pottery Barn. And what is so special about these crystals is I was actually at an antique store in our downtown, and my grandmother had these glasses, and she would just drink out like sweet tea out of them and water and just anything casual out of them. And when she passed away and we went to her house, we noticed a lot of her stuff was missing. And so when I found these, I was like, how sweet, because I'm so sentimental, and it's just sweet because she never got to see my home, but it feels like she's right here, part of it. And then the Marshall speaker is the placeholder until we can get a record player in here. It has been so nice having our friends over and being able to drink and lounge and read, but having some tunes in the background. And then this piece was from an antique store in Cleveland, Georgia. And what's so crazy is that I was on Facebook Marketplace looking for a buffet and just couldn't find any that I wanted to pay for. And this one is so good. Comes with the key and everything. And these even fold out if you need it to be wider. We don't need it wider. Okay, what's so funny about this is that if you notice, there's actually no overhead lighting in this room. This house came with none. And so we were like, even more perfect to bring the ambiance in here by having candles and lamps and that were warm toned rather than trying to put in overhead lighting. And so these switches actually control our outdoor lights. Okay, there are a few pieces that I bought before the house was purchased and before there was ever even paint on the walls. And I was like, I know this room needs a brass coffee table, and I know it needs white swivel chairs. So these swivel chairs are from Facebook Marketplace, and I felt like the luckiest girl in the world because it was actually an interior designer who was selling these. And I drove an hour there and back to get them, but she told me how to take the best care of them. Loved her to death. And then we honestly have these picked out and in the Amazon cart as well. I can't really tell on camera, but they're velvet and they're like this champagne color. And I really wanted this room to feel like tone on tone on tone. And even when I considered getting a nickel coffee table, because honestly I am a nickel girly, but I just knew this room, I wanted it to be as warm as possible. And one little secret about me is I decorate any room with Christmas in mind because that's my favorite holiday. I'm so nostalgic, I'm so sentimental. So I picture every room with what will look best at Christmas time. So as warm and cozy as possible is what I went for. Okay, this is from the same antique store that I got those glasses from. And this was actually a gift from us. It is so cool. It is this Brookstone cigar tray that my cousin-in-laws got for us, and I love to collect matchbooks, and my in-laws are very big sailors, so we have this one out there, but we also have a collection of matchbooks, as you'll see. And then Van, my boyfriend, made these coasters, and so it's just been really cool to have things that he's made around our house. And the warmth and the wood and the colors and all the tone in here just make this room feel like a blanket. A little coffee table tour. So one thing about me is I know that it is trendy now, and I really hate that because I feel like people won't believe me when I say I've always been Ralph Lauren's biggest fan. I've been way ahead of my time because now it's like a trend to style your room as Ralph Lauren, but I promise I am true to this, not new to this. But here is my lovely cowboy right here on my coffee table. And one thing that Van and I love to do sometimes is open it on pages, because every page in this book is just so beautiful. But we try to open it on pages that kind of go with the occasion that we're hosting for. When we had Father's Day, there was a page in this book that looks like some of my grandfather's old shirts. So we had it open on there. And just depending on the occasion, that's how we choose when to open it. Sometimes less is more. We'll just keep it closed because he does all the talking on the front. Here are some of my favorite designers. Shay McGee is like my all-time favorite. But I love her coffee table books. I love being able to stack books. I can't wait to add more to this collection. And these are actually from Shay's Threshold collab at Target. So I'm happy to have those. This is just a fun little card holder that I got Van for Christmas for when we got into our future house. It would go for something just as well as this. And this candle is a gift from the cousins that also got us the cigar tray over there. Okay, so on the bottom of this coffee table, it's still a work in progress because I really want to get a basket. But there's a bunch of magazines. I went to the University of Georgia, so there's a lot of Georgia magazines that I get, and they're mixed in with home magazines, and the Scrabble is so sweet and sentimental as well. Again, you'll hear me use that word a lot because that's who I am to my core. Van's grandmother gave us the Scrabble board because they used to play it all the time at his house, and when Van and I started dating, I used to have him play Scrabble against me all the time. So if he ever uses big words, you guys can thank me for that. Okay, this next section is one that just kind of came together as we went along. This rounded couch is from Woods Furniture, but it was in Van's grandmother's house for the longest time. And then she actually had it in storage, and we were like, please, 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 pass that down to us. And she was like, go ahead and have it now. And we found this drink table, which is kind of, again, that bronzy champagne color at Kirkland's. And we were like, you know what? We're trying to make this a lounge that people can also drink or play music in or read in. We don't have anywhere for them to put their drinks down. So we had to get this. Oh my goodness, this lovely blanket. This was a gift to Van. And I was like, Van, it goes with nothing that we have. For months, he tried to force it on me in the living room on the end of the bed. And I was like, it doesn't go in anything. And then finally, we moved into this house. A couple months later, we got the lounge done. And Van put it in here. And I'm like, you know what? I don't hate it. I don't hate this Western Oregon Trail looking Budweiser blanket. You know what? We'll let it stay here. So the blanket has finally found its place, despite all of my fighting against it. But you know what, ladies? Sometimes you gotta let the men have a win. This is from Hobby Lobby, and it's actually so funny because I always told myself I'm not gonna get artwork from Hobby Lobby, but tail between my legs, I really love this piece. I have a thing for swans. Again, you're not going to believe me, but before it became a big thing, I had a thing for swans. And so I saw this. I love that the swans were so tiny in it. And again, the wooden border just went with the brown. We got a picture light to put on it. And then I've always wanted a lamp like this. I just never pulled the trigger on actually ordering one. And then when I saw this marked down online at Walmart, I was like, now's the chance, and it's the perfect excuse because there's no lighting, overhead lighting in the lounge, so we actually needed it. Okay, this is the lovely bar cabinet. For the longest time, I thought I wanted a bar cart, and then finally at Christmas, when we were looking at different bar carts, I was like, you know what, I'd rather not have it all displayed out and about. I'd rather have a bar cabinet. It just felt more my style. So Van's parents got us this for Christmas, and it's where we display all the things that you can just grab as you are lounging around. That you can just grab and go while you're lounging around in here. And some bar books. This is from Crate & Barrel. I love Crate & Barrel. This is their hatch set, and I just felt like this was so pretty, and it goes so well. And here is their bar set. These are toothpicks that taste like bourbon, and then none of us really smoke cigars, but we got the initial inspiration for this room at a cigar lounge. I went to watch one of our friends perform live, and I was like, I really love the aesthetic and the vibe of being in here because you have people talking, you have some people drinking, you have some people listening to music, but it's just this idea that everybody can be in one room doing their own thing, but they're together, and I love that. So I wanted to bring that into here. And then these are just fun little bar napkins that we have with cute quotes from famous people. I drink to make other people more interesting. Ernest Hemingway. And lastly is the music portion of the lounge. So I've shown you where you can just sit and chat and lounge. I've shown you where you can drink and lounge, where you can read and lounge. But this is the music portion. This piano, my Nana and Papa actually picked up at a Habitat for Humanity. I told them that I wanted a lounge for a room, and they went, and this one was free, and it played well. And we initially were going to paint it green, honestly the color of my pants, and then this got in here, and we were like, you know, honestly, it looks so good. Like how we've kept the tone on everything, how we've kept everything dark and warm. We were like, we don't want this to necessarily be a focal point. We want it to stand out on this wall, and that's why we didn't put a lot around it, but we didn't want the piano itself to stand out in the room because we wanted everything to be in harmony with each other. So that's how this came about. And then here is the little collection of matchbooks that I was talking about because we love it. And then Van, my boyfriend, plays guitar. So here's his guitar, and it is strung for somebody who's left-handed. And then lastly, in this little corner, this is actually a photo I took of Hotel Bennett in Charleston. The name Bennett just has a deep meaning to me. I love that name, and I honestly didn't know this was Hotel Bennett when I took the photo, but I went back and I found that out, and so my iPhone actually suggested putting this in black and white, and when we were trying to decide what to put on this wall, I was like, you know what, let's just put that photo up. So, yeah. Okay guys, so that was our lounge. I hope you enjoyed it. I am so excited to take you along on more projects that we do in other rooms in our house, but until then, stay tuned and we'll see you again next time.